Suppose you're teaching kindergarten. I'm going to demonstrate a typical lesson by choosing Module 6, Lesson 4. I need to assume that you've read the mathematics background and you've viewed the MathEd video or session to get the content and pedagogical knowledge you need for this module. Now let's get started. When you log in, Stepping Stones will take you to the last page you opened. So you're probably already on Lesson 3. Simply select Lesson 4 from the Lesson tab and choose Whole Class. More about the other options from this tab later. Here you see the teacher's notes for Lesson 4. You can increase or decrease the size of this page from the menu at the right. You can also choose to print this page from this menu. Roll over the title to reveal the Common Core standard and the learning target that this lesson addresses. You can find out more about assessment of learning targets in another tutorial. Below the title you will see a short abstract about the content of this lesson and a statement identifying a related mathematical practice. Roll over this statement to reveal how this lesson addresses this mathematical practice. Now you need to familiarise yourself with the content so you can teach the lesson. You will see the lesson comprises 4 steps or parts: preparing the lesson, starting the lesson, teaching the lesson, and a reflection. The first step simply tells you what materials you need. In this case, you can see that we need 10 large tagboard squares showing the numbers 1 to 10, and a puppet made from a support page. We also need an interactive whiteboard, or IWB. But notice there is an alternative in case you don't have an interactive whiteboard. More about this in a minute. The other required resource is the student journal page for this lesson. By the way, every whole class lesson in Stepping Stones will make use of the student journal. This feature is constant. All these resources can be viewed and printed from the Resources tab at the top right. For example, if you want to print the support page, just select it from the tab and choose the Print button from the bottom of the viewer. If you don't have student journals, you may also want to print the black and white version of the student journal page at this stage. Now let's look back at the notes. The second heading is Starting the Lesson. You need to read all the notes to prepare yourself for the lesson. Notice that the flare tool is used here and the student journal page here. After reading the notes, go to Resources and decide which images you want to display in your playlist. You can learn more about using a playlist in another tutorial, but a playlist is simply the sequence of digital tools that are used in this lesson. I'll keep the flare option for the purpose of this tutorial, but I could select the staticware image if I did not have an interactive whiteboard in my classroom. Press Edit and delete the files you don't want. I will remove the black and white page. There's no need for the children to see that. When you're ready to teach, click the play button here if you edited your playlist. If, however, you did not need to edit your playlist, simply press the Teach button here. Either button will activate the playlist. In my edited playlist, the first image you see is the support page. This arrow takes you to the next resource, which is the flare tool for our interactive whiteboard. I can now interact with this tool on my IWB, and as it is delivered via the web, it will work on any brand of hardware. Select the arrow again to move on to the full colour student journal page. Use this projected page to read the instructions to the children and to clarify the tasks. The final image reveals the answers for discussion. Teachers are always asking me, how long shall a lesson take? But that's really just like asking how long is a piece of string. It depends on so many variables, such as the teacher's confidence, their level of knowledge, where the students are at, and so on. I would expect that every lesson will take between 45 minutes or maybe 60 minutes a day. Any less than this, and I would expect you to have a hard time addressing the Common Core. So there you have it. The lesson's been taught, but there's still more. Click on the Lesson 4 tab again to reveal the options we viewed earlier. Choose Differentiation, and here you will see suggestions for extra help and extra challenge. Most lessons will also show extra practice. If resources are required for any of these activities, just print or project them from the Resources tab at the top right. From the Lesson tab, you can see small group activities. You can learn more about these tabs in the tutorial on Teaching a Module in Kindergarten. Notice that the last option is called Ongoing Practice. Lessons 2, 4 and 6 in each module of kindergarten provide 2 pages of practice. The first revisits content from the previous module. Roll over the page to see the lesson that it relates to. The second page gives further practice for fact fluency or numeral writing. You can print the practice pages from the Resources tab if you wish, but all the practice pages are available in the Student Practice Book. Just before I go, we should discuss one last feature. While I'm speaking about practice, I really want you to note that lessons 1, 3 and 5 provide just one practice page of content, and these practice pages revisit content from a previous module. But in these lessons, Stepping Stones also provides a digital resource called Fluency Practice. This provides essential practice for developing fluency of counting, subtizing, and basic fact recall. Let's have a quick look at all three. Counting practice occurs in different ways. Sometimes children will count objects in random arrangements, and sometimes in frames. This example from Module 1, Lesson 1, has them counting objects up to 5. Just select Fluency Practice from the Resource tab and click this arrow to move the image forward. The ability to subtize is an important skill. Throughout the early modules in kindergarten, children will be given practice in subtizing quantities of pictorial objects and then dots in different arrangements. This example in Module 7, Lesson 1, has them subtizing quantities to 9 in familiar domino dot arrangements. Finally, towards the end of the year, students will practice their fact fluency for addition and subtraction within 5. Look at this example in Module 12, Lesson 1. You have control over the time given to each fact. Just click this arrow to forward to the next fact. The final page will reveal the answers. We recommend that you mix up the delivery of the facts. You could really start by showing the facts and reading it to them. You can have the children just read the facts alone, or you may hide the facts and just read it out loud so they're hearing you say it. It's really up to you and your professional judgment as to how you mix it up.